Hi everyone, wanna hear a fun fact about Rizal? Do you know that Jose Rizal had Chinese, Spanish, and Japanese ancestors? Rizal was a Filipino mestizo heritage, a name used to refer to people of mixed native Filipino and any foreign ancestry. A grandmother of his mother, Theodora, had a mixed Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog blood, combining the paternal and maternal ancestry. Therefore, Jose Rizal was born with Malay, Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish lineage in his blood. Almost 159 years ago, a man named Jose Potasio Rizal Mercar y Alonso Rialonda was born on June 19, 1861. At Kalimba, Laguna, ever since he was a child, he was being acknowledged by himself the right among his works, No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, that tells about the self-consignment of the Spanish region. On the 13th day of December, year 1896, at the age of 35, Jose Rizal was being executed at Bagambayan, holding his whole-hearted fondness and love to his countrymen. And because of this, Rizal was created the Law of Jose Rizal, Life and Works, Republic Act 1425, or the Rizal Law. This Republic Act calls for an increase of sense and nationalism from the Filipinos. A lot of sacrifices were given to the country. Lots of ink were used instead of swords. We should acknowledge him, appreciate him, and recognize for. Because of him, we claim independence.
June 19, 1861. Sir Rizal, the seventh child of Francisco Mercado Rizal and Teodora Alonso y Quintos, was born in Calamba, Laguna. On June 22, 1861, Jose Rizal Mercado was baptized at the Catholic Church of Calamba by the parish priest Rufino Colantes, with Pedro Casañas as the sponsor. Since he was a young child, Dr. Jose Rizal has been intelligent and gifted. His tenacity and desire to learn new things have been his tools against all odds. Struggle. Along with his perseverance, Rizal's academic background helped him become one of history's greatest writers. He obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree from his first university in Ateneo to pursue his love of arts and literature. After arriving at Ateneo, Rizal also encountered his first love, which turned out to be tragic. However, this has no bearing on his University of Santo Tomas studies, and he continues to work hard. In University of Santo Tomas, he studied cosmology, metaphysics, theodicy, and history of philosophy. Later, he began studying medicine as a part of his preparation for becoming a doctor, because he wanted to treat his mother's failing eyesight. As a result of his commitment to his studies, he was top among his classmates in class and was soon dubbed the emperor for being the most exceptional student. He graduated with the highest honors and even named the most brilliant Athenian of his time, which made him pride of the Jesuits. As a result, he traveled while learning German, French, and English at the Madrid Ateneo. Rizal was regarded as a superb student. Despite of the difficulties he encountered, he persisted until completed what he started. As a result of his experience and sacrifices, Rizal become one of the greatest authors in history. He faced numerous challenges but never give up for the benefit of his education. Even though there are vast tribulations, he keeps studying until fully learns all those lessons he discerns tremendous things. Um, he never engaged in combat. Instead, he worked hard and pursued education for the benefit of others. So, uh, Jose Rizal's novel No Limitang Here and Il Filibusterismo, written in Spanish, became the center stage of debate among the Spanish friars and authorities during the Spanish times, as it uncovers and talks about the real-life conditions of the livelihood of the people in the Philippines. The Filipinos ruled by the Spanish people during the Spanish era. Rizal's novels mostly talk about the Spanish clergy and how they intervene the lives of the natives by their arrogance and tyrannical rule over them, which bring about social issues that scarred the Philippine society under Spanish colonial rule. All things considered, both of Rizal's novels were eye-catching, which naturally became the center of stage as to how it critiques and depicts the friar domination and the corrupt governance to the natives.
Rizal was a Filipino nationalist and a writer who is widely known and considered one of the national heroes of the Philippines. Rizal became deeply concerned about the plight of the Filipino people under Spanish colonial rule and dedicated his life to working for their freedom and social justice. He believed that the key to achieving these goals was through education and the promotion of national consciousness among the Filipino people. Rizal's idea about nationalism were shaped by his experience growing up under Spanish colonial rule and by his exposure to the ideas of the European Enlightenment. He believed that the Filipino people had the right to the self-determination and the freedom to govern themselves. Rizal's ideas about nationalism were expressed in his writings, including his mostly famous novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, which were both critical of the Spanish colonial government and exposed the injustices and corruption of the system. Rizal's idea and activism had a profound influence on the Philippine independent movement, and he is remembered as one of the key figures in the country's fight for the independence against Spain.
Rizal was quite the romantic person. Did you know how many women Rizal dated? Rizal dated 9 different women from other cultures as well and in other countries, not just Filipino ones. His first love, his so-called puppy love, was named Segunda Katikbak. However, she was actually engaged and to be married to a townmate named Manuel Luz. So that didn't really work out. And other than Filipino women, Rizal also dated a Japanese woman called O Seisan. She is a samurai's daughter, and she taught Rizal the Japanese art known as sumi. Sumi is the art of painting. And besides that, she also taught Rizal and made sure that he improved his knowledge on the Japanese language. Even though Rizal had dated different women, like 9 to be exact, he only had one wife, and she was called Josephine Bracken. Josephine Bracken is a petite woman of Irish descent, and she met Rizal when she came to the Pitan to seek for eye treatment. And from there on, Rizal fell head over heels for her. Even though Rizal was quite a romantic, his love was not comparable than to his love of his country, the Philippines.
Two of Rizal's two most well-known works are Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, but you should be aware that Jose Rizal also wrote other pieces with the intention of inspiring his countrymen with important lessons. A la Juventud Filipina means to the Filipino youth. It's a very inspiring poem emphasizing the great potential of Filipino youth. It exhorts the youth of the Philippines to realize their potential by using their abilities and skills for the benefit of their fellow citizens. Our mother tongue to the Philippines is actually more important, rather than foreign language, because we may forget what our culture means, or we may not value our culture because we just value other cultures as well. So it may be a bad idea. So that's why Rizal uses this poem to inspire many young people to always value our mother tongue, our Filipino youth. And also for Jose Rizal's other works also from his poem, it's called Mi Ultimo Adios, means my last farewell. Before his execution by firing squad on December 30, 1896, the piece was one of the last notes he wrote before his death, because he is about to die because he's a martyr. Okay. Uh, Rizal wrote a title to the poem. Some scholars contend that the original copy did not have a title to it. If so, perhaps it is safe to say that he composed the poem only while he was in his prison cell in Fort Santiago in Manila. Historians tell us that Narcisa, sister of Pepe, Jose Rizal, received from him minutes before his martyrdom a lamparilla kerosene lamp, empty of the liquid, where the written poem in a folded piece of paper was hidden inside the lamp. So Rizal can tell the people of his dying wish and his dying poem and his dying message.
In the film, he showed us that if you want to change anything, you can, despite having participated in numerous conflicts involving sword, rifle, and blood. And he is not your typical national hero. Instead, he engaged the Spanish government in a literary conflict using his pen and paper. This video showed, or the movie showed, how effective a great intellect, a pen, and a paper can be. At the Pitan, Dr. Jose Rizal had one of his most productive times, though not a lot. During this time, he focused mostly on aiding the populace and society. He participates in a civic involvement, medical work, educational advocacy, mentoring young people, and many other actions to improve and build our society. Intruders who are greedy and don't know how much can only be stopped by people who are very smart. Dr. Jose Rizal used his wisdom to start a fight against Spanish government. He used his talent to write poems, novels, and articles that taught Filipinos about doing good things and gave them the motivation to fight for their freedom. As he led his people to freedom, he was always wise and looked ahead. He showed that writing is more powerful than fighting. And as a child, I learned to care about my country as much as I care about my family. I also learned that from Rizal's life, how important it is for parents to take care about the morals of their children. Learn that education is important because it helps me and my country be successful. I also learned that education shouldn't be stopped at the four corners of the classroom, but should go all the way to the four corners of the world. And Jose Rizal also gave us freedom with his patriotism to our country. He fought for freedom in a way that was incredibly understated but effective, and as a result, he was honored as the Philippines' national hero. He expressed his love and passion for the Philippines through literature, and Jose Rizal fought for freedom in a way our other heroes didn't. He fought without using force and instigating a bloody war, though it ended up him getting executed. The most critical lessons we can take from this movie is that people will and can do anything just to achieve his or her goals. There might be lots of obstacles along the way, but it doesn't stop us to find the best way possible as long as we are desperate about achieving it. Jose Rizal showed us that fighting for something doesn't equate to aggression. He showed us that there are other options to take for us to have what we want. He made us realize that being calm, composed, and not being in our feelings are keys in reaching and achieving our dreams in life.